I want you to understand that forget whatever that is going on social media, forget whatever that the Nigeria terrorist states are saying on social media and behaving on their National Assembly. They know that the game is over. I am telling you the fact. The northern Nigeria know that the game is over. I know what is going on within them. The presidency of Nigeria know that the game is over. The Senate President Akpabio knows that the game is over. The only people that do not know, or maybe they are just skeptical, are the gullible one Nigerians who are believing in the Nigeria terrorist army that they have the capability to eliminate Biafrans, not knowing that I actually lost the war already before even the war started.
Only one under his leadership, His Excellency Simon Ekpa. Anybody that is confusing anyone or telling you there is another, no, there is nothing. There's just one, recognized by His Excellency Simon Ekpa. And we can pray. Once he has that communication, Biafrans, we understand that Obato Obie does not take no crap from nobody. No matter who you are, you must respect that authority. That authority is the only thing that can protect all of us.
Welcome, fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom across the world. I welcome you to this amazing platform. Wherever you are connecting from, please like and share this program. Share to all platforms, share to family and friends, share to everyone that you can be able to reach. This platform where you are watching this program is a platform that stands with the United States of Biafra. The United States of Biafra, under the command of our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoko, and on the Supreme Command of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, today under the leadership of the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Oronbose. Wherever you are watching us from, I urge you to share this program so that others can be able to join us and hear what is going on. The atrocities of Nigeria has gotten to the level that is unimaginable. If you do not end Nigeria, Nigeria will end you. I want you to watch this program that I'm about to play from beginning to end. You are going to see a first-hand experience of what the poor people are facing in the zoological republic called Nigeria, in the hand of the politicians and those who call themselves the leaders of the zoo. Nigeria has to be destroyed and ended before it ends humanity. I want you to pay close attention to this very video that is about to play so that you can see the experience of the poor masses in Nigeria. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's watch and hear what happened.
So we knew that if we went to that forest and flushed them out, would degrade their capacity.
No, the greatest challenge that you face, though, is the Fulani herdsmen today, which is being reported in just about every other media, that they are the ones perpetrating this crime.
Which crime?
Are they the ones?
Which crime?
Killing of people.
No. Look, let me explain the three problems, and then you will get it in context. The cattle rustling and banditry is an essentially Fulani phenomenon. Okay, it is Fulanis, and we knew where they were, and we collaborated with the state governments surrounding that notorious forest range, Kamuku Kuyambane Forest Reserve, and said, look, this is a problem that we have to solve jointly. We collaborated with the cooperation of other state governments. We put together money and a military operation, flushed them out. Okay? And today we have over 300 young Fulanis between 18 and 30 in custody for kidnapping, for cattle rustling, and robbery. Okay? So that we understood. It was easy because that's one place.
Okay. We follow that one up. When you understood the problem and flushed them out, did you subsequently find out that perhaps in that process, while they were flushed out, did they get involved in the other crisis which you're about to explain?
Maybe they did. Okay, I will come to that, because we have this problem has multiple dimensions, and I will try to cover everything as much as I can. But I'm trying to classify the problems and tell you what we did. Okay, so to a large extent, we degraded cattle rustling. They moved on to kidnapping. Okay, we have addressed that to a large extent. It's more or less sorted in Kaduna. Unfortunately, because of weak law enforcement, there are copycat crimes all over the states now. I'm learning to my dismay that even in Lagos now you have cases of kidnapping, but this is what we did. Now, the second problem of the urban gangs we addressed, because the police and the SSS knew who these gangs were. It was just the capacity to bring them to justice that was lacking, and that was done. So to a large extent, we solved that. It still breaks out once in a while because drug addiction is a big problem, but that was sorted. The southern Kaduna was more difficult because we didn't understand it, and this is why we needed a high-profile committee like the Agwai committee to look at it, and they did. We established the committee in July. By the end of August, they submitted a report. They went round southern Kaduna, they talked to community, they talked to everybody, and they came back with certain findings and recommendations, and the findings were very enlightening, even to me, who is Fulani. Okay, I'm 87.5% Fulani, I'm told by my parents. They found that there were 3 groups of Fulanis: the settled Fulanis, like me, that don't herd cattle, they're settled in one place, don't move around up and down. The semi-settled that live in Nigeria, they are Nigerians, but move their cattle up and down in search of pasture. And then there's the transhumans pastoralists that come from other African countries. Fulanis are in about 14 countries. All over West Africa, there is virtually no country in West Africa that is no Fulani minority or even majority. And under an ECOWAS protocol signed in 2003, these Fulanis take their cattle when the dry season in their country starts and herd them down to Nigeria, up to central Nigeria, okay, in search of pasture. And around March, when the rains start, they start moving back the same routes. And apparently, I didn't know this until I got briefing as governor, there are international stock routes mapped out from pre-colonial times that these transhumans herdsmen follow. Unfortunately, because of population explosion, we are 50 million at independence. Today we are nearly 200 million. Because of population explosion, urban development and farmlands have taken over some of these international routes. Okay, this is the basis for the clashes. Now, a herdsman in Guinea, for instance, thinks that he can follow this route, and as he's following the route, he meets a farm, and his cattle destroys part of the farm, and the farmer
in any situation, have you gotten reports, intelligence reports, that perhaps the farmers also took the cows of the herdsmen?
No, we have no such reports. But what often happens, that when damage to a farm occurs, in those days, the Fulani would leave behind a small calf as compensation. So, you know, what I'm trying to say that in the past, there used to be a framework to settle these things. Okay, but that framework has more or less collapsed. So when we understood so Agwai committee identified this and said, and they also found that some of what we're seeing in southern Kaduna were reprisal killings for what happened in 2011. Because in 2011, as the herdsmen were moving their cattle back to their countries or to their locations in various parts of northern Nigeria, the post-election violence took place in April. And many of them were trapped. They just happened to be there. And they were killed. Cattle, their livestock lost, and so on. And so some of them were coming back to do reprisal killings. Most of the Fulanis within Nigeria filed claims. Okay, because there was the Lemu Commission of Inquiry that looked at this problem and made recommendation that federal government should pay compensation to those that lost cattle.
Pardon me, but where did this happen? Where were they trapped?
They were trapped mostly around Zonkwa in Zangwa Katab local government, Kaura, and Jema'a. Okay?
These were all in southern Kaduna?
Yes, these are in southern Kaduna. And this happened to be also the areas where we have these problems today. Okay? There are 8 local governments in southern Kaduna. Only 3 or 4 have this problem. Okay? And this is where mostly the killings in 2011 took place. Now, after the Lemu Commission made recommendations, and the Judicial Commission of Inquiry set up by Kaduna State also made similar findings, compensation was offered to those that were killed, displaced, and so on. And some of the federal government provided the money, and compensation was paid. But of course, those that are in Guinea, in Mali, in Niger, cannot claim any compensation. They didn't even appear before the Commission of Inquiry. These are the people coming back to carry out reprisal killings.
We'll come back and take a look at it from that perspective and find out what you also did to solve this problem. Do join us again. Welcome back to Sunrise Daily, continuing our conversation with the Governor of Kaduna State, His Excellency Nasir El-Rufai. He's here with us in the studio. You have said that you did identify how kinds of Fulani that exist, how some of them move from different countries into Nigeria to cause some of these problems. Now, on the 3rd of December 2016, it was widely published that you had a meeting with a select group of journalists, and you did brief them that your government has traced some violent, aggrieved Fulani to their countries and paid them to stop killings of southern Kaduna natives and the destruction of their communities, saying that the renewed violence is carried out by bandits. Could you explain this?
Well, look, that was reported not only incorrectly but out of context. What we did was this. The Agwai Committee recommended that we should reach out to these transhumance pastoralists because they have established that most of the attacks in southern Kaduna are traceable to them because they were outside the process of the Lemu Commission and the Kaduna State Commission of Inquiry. They did not receive any compensation. They didn't even appear before the commission because they are foreigners. And one of the members of the Agwai Committee fortuitously was part of a team that the late governor of Kaduna State, Patrick Yakowa, was sending to reach out to these people. Apparently, Yakowa also stumbled onto this information and realized that he had to reach out to these transhumance pastoralists from other countries. And that process was going on. If you look at Yakowa's tenure, in 2011 there were attacks. But he started this outreach, and throughout 2012, until he died, there were no attacks as such. Okay? So one of the members of the committee mentioned this, and it was in the Agwai recommendation to reach out to these people through NGOs, civil society organizations, and so on. So we reassembled the team and said, go out and talk to them. Tell them that this has to stop. Tell them that we are willing to offer compensation for lost lives, for lost livestock, but it is senseless to keep killing people because you feel that you've been offended.
So did they respond to you? Yes.
Pardon?
Did they respond to you positively?
They did. We sent a team and they went round, and by the time they made 3 or 4 such groups, the killing stopped. So between August, if you
yesterday, the First Lady was given a chieftaincy title in Enugu State. The Ugo Simba one of Enugu State. And it means the jewel of women empowerment. She's doing absolutely well. If she wasn't doing well, that chieftaincy title would not be given to her. So you see what I'm saying? So it looks like some Nigerians are really seeing that the president is trying, or this administration is really doing something laudable.
Promise.
Sir?
You see, I don't want to quarrel with you this afternoon. Seriously.
I'm just sharing line of thought.
It's your line of thought. It doesn't sync well with me. Tell me what you think this woman have done for Nigeria. Mention it.
They say she's the jewel of women empowerment.
They said.
That is what the traditional ruler in Enugu State said.
I don't agree with you and those traditional rulers. I don't agree with you. Tinubu and his wife and his family, they just want to spread their tentacle all over Nigeria. That is the beginning of dictatorship. If you don't know. Because this thing that everybody is supporting now, we have seen it ahead of time. Oh. We have seen it ahead of time. And it's going to boomerang. It may cause problem in Nigeria. Go and mark my word. You say this in Tinubu is it and everybody is supporting, it must definitely cause problem. Maybe by that time your eyes will open. Nigeria will say, we didn't know, we thought. That's what you'll be hearing. We thought he meant well. Oh. The same thing they did for Buhari here for 8 years. They were supporting him. And some of us, we are crying out. They didn't listen to us. Until this man wasted 8 years of our lives. Tinubu has started now. Very soon now, they will call his son and give him another title in the same Enugu. Then they will now call the daughter. What is Hope Uzodinma doing himself? Has he given his own title?
God have mercy upon
No, Hope Uzodinma have not seen all the title. He will do. He is going to create one for him in Imo State. Go and watch it. He must create one for Tinubu and his family in Imo State.
Barrister, Barrister, I understand the way you feel, but as I keep saying, let me mention just one Nigerian that is saying that he has given the president 99% score for his 2 years in office. Like I said, his name is Senator Adedayo Adeyeye. He was a former Minister of State for Works and Chairman and Board of Nigerian Ports Authority. He's a senator now, and he's given the president 99% in 2 years in office.
Are you serious?
So these are some of the Nigerians that are saying that the president is doing something wonderful.
What did you call him? Adeyeye, Abi?
Yes, sir.
Where is that name coming from?
He's a Nigerian.
Where is he coming from? Which region of Nigeria?
Is it about ethnicity right now?
If not, what else? Is that not what Tinubu is? Is that not what he's good at? No, is that not what he's good at? Divide and rule. If people from Southwest will not praise him, who else will praise him? Hold on, who else will praise him? Answer me. When they are giving all the appointment to the Southwesterners, what are you not saying? That is the beginning of dictatorship. This thing you are seeing so. Go and watch every other place where this thing has happened. That's how they started. Gradually, sycophants. They will be paid money. They will be cajoled. They will be brought in. They will be given contract and all that to sing the praises of the president until he gathered everybody and put everybody in his pocket.
Barris, I think you're reaching too far now. But let's talk about strengthening democracy. We're in a democratic system of
democracy. So if you come out now, you will swear that we are in a democracy. What Tinubu is doing now?
We're in a democratic system of government.
I don't think so. I don't think because what we are seeing now, it has never happened in the history of Nigeria. Tell me at any point in time where we saw what Tinubu is doing in office today. Even PDP, with all his spread and everything, they still allowed APC to exist. They didn't do this thing that Tinubu is doing today. How can you call this type of nonsense a democracy?
All right,
it's complete rubbish.
Language, sir. We're one on the international.
Please, the people should promise, please. Anybody who loves this country should be very blunt in condemning this thing before it swallows all of us. I'm not joking. Anybody who is a patriotic Nigerian should ask Tinubu, is this democracy that you promised Nigerians?
All right,
we should be doing that by now.
Asịkwana Chineke na enweghị ihe ọ ga-eme maka ọ ga-eme gị nwụọ n'ike. Hope asịkwana na ọ ihe Chineke ga-eme ọ ga-emekwa ịfụnanya. Isi n'igwe na enwere ihe ọ ga-eme maka Biafra ọ ga-eme ya ịfụ ya n'anya. Ịghọtago?
This is why I advise my viewers to always try to spend their time also and pay attention to the conventional media. You can see that almost everything that we are saying on the social media is said in the conventional media, even though they try to be politically correct. But I bet you, the only place you can see the raw truth is on the social media and the platforms of the United States of Biafra, where we decimate information the way it is. You can see even a fellow Biafran defending the atrocities of Nigeria against its own people. It is a shame. It is a shame. But they do these things in order to create that problem and coerce between us. We must pay attention. We move. Biafra all the way.